This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority says a compelling case has been presented to the Hawksbill Creek Committee for a 20-year extension of those provisions relating to business license fees and property tax concessions. Those provisions expired in August of last year. A statement issued by the Grand Bahama Port Authority states that a substantial extension of the concessions is required to preserve existing jobs and unlock opportunities to create new jobs through expansion projects in the port area, as well as overall new investment in Grand Bahama. Now, according to the statement, meaningful dialogue and collaboration with the central government in the development and regulation of Freeport has always been supported and encouraged by the Port Authority and its shareholders. Port officials say they look forward to progressing negotiations with the central government with a view to eliminating as early as possible the continuing uncertainty regarding the future of those expiring tax concessions. Now, yesterday in Parliament, the nation's leader noted that a further 3-month extension is needed to adequately and successfully address all of these issues. Well, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce giving its take on the decision to approve the power company's rate adjustment. The business community calling the adjustment reasonable. Here's the report. Members of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce say they met with the power company's regulators prior to the rate approval. President Kevin D. Seymour says they formed an ad hoc committee to conduct research and had an opportunity to share their concerns.
The power company is a monopoly. And as a monopoly, there's no competition. And so when we saw the first set of proposed increases and decreases, we didn't think that they went far enough. And so we asked the regulator to provide us with some additional information. We had some subsequent meetings with the regulator.
Seymour says he understands the technical aspect of the hedging program. He adds that they also had an opportunity to take a closer look between the market price of oil versus the power company buying it under the hedging arrangement.
Last week, we met again with the regulator. At that meeting, we were informed that they had gone back to the drawing board with the power company, sharpened their pencils, and was able to find some additional savings across the board for consumers.
The Chamber President adds that while some organizations are calling for deeper savings from the Grand Bahama Power Company, as representatives of the business community that also includes the Grand Bahama Power Company, the Chamber believes that the rate adjustment which has been approved is reasonable.
When you compare the rates being paid in Grand Bahama with the rates being paid elsewhere in the Bahamas, notably New Providence, one has to take into consideration the level of subsidy provided by the government with respect to the fuel in New Providence. So it's not a one-on-one comparison.
Seymour said they are satisfied that they have played a role in ensuring that a reasonable balance was struck.
We certainly weighed in on the issue. We believe that our voice was heard on the issue. How long is the string in terms of whether or not they could have done a bit more? We as representatives for business, and bear in mind the power companies are one of our members, so we want to make sure that anything that we propose is fair. Well, the Grand Celebration is a big player in Grand Bahama's cruise industry. The service between Freeport and Palm Beach is in high demand. And to complement this, the Ministry of Tourism is making a greater effort to make Grand Bahama a first-class destination. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
The cruise ship industry is big business. After the past year now, a mega cruise liner continues to pump millions into Grand Bahama's economy. According to the director of the Ministry of Tourism, Betty Batho, the direct impact of the Grand Celebration to Grand Bahama has been phenomenal.
We're very excited. This vessel has over-delivered on our expectations. So we're very, very happy to be back here a year later, seeing the produce of the Grand Celebration.
The goal now, she says, is to attract other mega cruise lines to our shores.
things that the Ministry of Tourism is focusing on that we believe will be very helpful in attracting more vessels like this one is strengthening our product on island. And we have been very aggressively looking for new product and have come up with quite a few events that we believe would be a stimulator for guests to come to Grand Bahama. So our emphasis is on strengthening guest services, customer service is key, new tours and attractions, and then events. We would like to have at least one key event a month that guests can plan to come, depending on the type of event that we're holding.
Cruise officials say the Grand Celebration and Grand Bahama can be considered a winning combination.
It's great. It's been a nice experience for me because I have in the cruise industry more than 25 years, but it's honestly a nice challenge to be every other day here in this beautiful island.
Your island, as I said, is very friendly, and they always try to help everybody. And I believe the most of the guests what we have from the U.S. and they like to have the life like free for every single thing and go everywhere and meet everybody and see that greeted by everyone in the island. When they go and whenever they need any help, they do get it, and we get a lot of good comments and nice feedback from the guests, which is very good for our company for the island. It's nice. And also we do have certain amount of employees from Bahamas, and they're doing fantastic, and we're very glad to have them.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Executives of the National Health Insurance launching a series of town meetings on Grand Bahama Wednesday evening at the Bahamas Union of Teachers Complex in Pioneers Loop. It was an informative presentation, and residents heard about the benefits of NHI and its phases from those driving national health insurance. Project manager Dr. Dallin Brennan was on hand to answer questions from members of the public. A big concern: will those with pre-existing medical conditions be covered by national health insurance?
With national health insurance, as you can imagine, is we don't have the ability to just say, well, you're already sick or you're too old to put people out. So there's no restrictions on age, pre-existing medical conditions like you have with some private health insurance. Everyone who's eligible for the benefit is covered. So it doesn't matter whether you have something ahead of time or not, all of that is still covered. As long as it's a benefit under NHI, you don't have to qualify otherwise for it. If you're an eligible beneficiary, you get the service.
Now, Dr. Brennan was also questioned about medical services that are not available in the Bahamas and whether NHI will still provide coverage in the event those services are not offered in the country.
If it's within the list, then NHI will pay for it, right? If that service can be delivered in country, then NHI will pay for you to have the service delivered in country. But if it's on the list of benefits and it cannot be delivered in country or cannot be delivered at the level of quality where we're getting you the high quality of care that is expected, then NHI will find a way for you to get that care outside of the country as well.
Now, all Bahamians are urged to pick up their new national insurance smart cards. It is the only way to benefit from the program as the second phase of NHI is quickly approaching. The town meetings continue this evening in McLeanstown at 7 p.m. and will wrap up next Friday in West End. All residents are urged to come out and be informed. Switching gears now, 29-year-old Chris Ferguson of 8 Mile Walk charged today with a string of housebreaking on Grand Bahama. Ferguson was charged before Magistrate Debbie Ferguson with 6 counts of housebreaking. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 2 years at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. He was also further arraigned before Magistrate Charlton Smith on 5 counts of housebreaking. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 2 years at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, both sentences to run consecutively. Stay with us, there's more news right after this.